Hello, welcome to Bars and Bells. My name is Eden.
I'm Lauren.
And this is the bar class, specifically our summertime edition, and more specifically, some presses and plies. We have our kettlebells right here and our bars on the wall. Lauren will start us with the foot warm-up, and stay tuned for mobility, strength exercises for the low body, and kettlebell presses for full body strength. And until I talk anymore, take it away, Lauren, with the warm-up.
All right, let's get ourselves set up in a little bit of space with our feet underneath of us. That connection to the floor is through all of your toes, the balls of your feet, your heels, and your feet are just nicely gripping, which might in fact encourage your butt cheeks to squeeze. Pull up on the kneecaps, square up your ribs over top of your hips, and just stand there for 1 second. Then let's continue with that posture, but push down to go up just to find our first light balance here today. And then let's descend. One leg will bend, one leg will stay straight. We'll end up on that ball of foot on one. We'll press to two and come down on the other side. Let's repeat that 2 more times. We're trying to keep the toes down, keep the ball of the foot connected. It's almost like you're warming up the foot for a lunge. Then we'll press up. This time we'll descend. We'll use our toes to point and we'll roll them over in the opposite direction. And then we'll come through the foot, up, down on a nice straight leg. That hip that's staying nice and tall is staying extended, so the butt cheeks are squeezed as you descend. The hip is pushing forward, and we're still keeping that rib cage over top. We have 1 more time of a roll over here, and then we'll add on. We'll go up, we'll continue coming down with that bent leg, but then we'll bend the other leg. Hips will lightly sit back. Press the hip through to that full extension, come back up, other side, straight leg. Absorb the landing knee towards over toe. Push the hip through, up to tall. 1 more time on each leg here. Light tip of the tailbone as you sit back, making room for that femur. Up, down, knee bends. And then extend the hips through. Let's press both up to tall. This time let's stay on those points of the toes and slowly descend. As low as you could get, that you could push yourself back up out of that. Ooh, and hold. Now stay up there. This time we'll come all the way down. We'll land softly, knees to the floor. Whew. Extend hips through. Shake that out for a second, and then we're gonna find our hands to the floor. Warm up those wrists quick. Light fingers, callus line, full palms. We'll rotate those elbow pits forward. We'll keep our shoulders pulled out of our ears. We're warming up these wrists because we use them throughout the day, but also because we're going to get into a plank to fire up our core for our presses. With those elbows nice and straight and shoulders out of your ears, we'll press to those first knuckles, crickety crack, and then come down softly. If you think about it, let's do this 4 more times. If you think about it, this is just what we did on our toes. It's just your hands. Similar body joints. So as we push up to those toes or those fingers, we keep our knees or our elbows straight. We keep the butt cheek squeeze, which means our shoulders are out of our ears. Yes, I'm equating our shoulders to our butts. I know they're slightly different, but for now,
They both have sockets.
That's right. Flick away and shake that out. Before we go back down to our hands to do a quick plank, let's extend those hips and work on hip extension with our rib cage down. I personally like to have my toes tucked here, but you can have toes tucked or pointed out behind you. Let's extend those hips forward, squeezing the cheeks, but then keep the cage down. Whew. Keep the hips forward, keep the cage down. If you want to add on, could you keep the hips forward, keep the cage down, maintain that nice straight line, but lean back, lean back. Try not to arch that back. Pull yourself back through. Let's try that 1 more time. As safe low as you can go, that you get out of, but maintain that nice straight line, and then through. Whew. We'll do 1 plank, we'll stand up, and then it's Ian's turn. Come on down to that plank position, which is hands under shoulders. Our feet will step back. Try to put your feet back in the width that you would press from, just so we can fire all that up. Squeeze your cheeks. Pull up your kneecaps to make your legs nice and tight. Pull your shoulders out of your ears. Now without moving, pull your hands towards your hips in parallel lines for 3, 2. Now change those lines to an X pattern. So right hand to left hip to right hip for 3, 2. Ooh. Hips lift. Walk yourself up slowly to tall, hinging or folding, but not doing a fringe. And then press up.
Woo. Nice. I'm going to add 1 exercise before we get to the bar. We should touch those kettlebells, I think, just to warm up the grips and just get used to how heavy that is. We'll be going through sets of 1s, 2s, and 3s with presses, but those kettlebell skills are really Lauren's forte, so let's give it back to her.
Oh, okay. Caught it. Let's hold that bell in the rack position just to see what it feels like. I will tell you it will feel heavier than when you go to press it. It's
Just how it goes.
Beats physics. I don't know how. But let's pick that bell up. So we use our hinge. We grip with one hand. We cuddle with the second. And we pull to that rack position. And like I